There was a king named Louis XV in 18th century France. He went hunting with the boys and came back home with 0 kills. No deer, no boar, nothing. He's very hungry and all he's got in his humble home is a pantry from Chopped. Onions, champagne, and cheese. So his cooks use these and make what is now known globally as French onion soup. A lot of things don't add up with this story for me, but anyways, let's learn how to make French onion soup from a French guy.
Start with 1 kilo of onions, which in my case is about 5 big ones.
I'm gonna use 2 onions because look at the size of these suckers. These definitely aren't organic.
Cut the onion in half, place the cut side down, and start slicing at the opposite end of the root.
Cut the onion in half and slice it. There in fact was one earlier record of a French cook who recorded an onion soup recipe in his cookbook back in 1651. His name was Francois Pierre Lavarenne, and he called the recipe a pottage of onion. I mean, I'm sure there's been a caveman who's probably cooked onions in a broth-like liquid before, but they put French before onion soup, so I guess we gotta give it to them.
2 tablespoons butter going, and a drizzle of neutral oil to prevent it from burning.
A large knob of butter and some ghee to prevent burning. It's also grass-fed because I'm a biohacker and I'm going to live to 150.
Drop all the onions in.
In my Dutch oven pot, I'm going to add 2 onions.
Season well with salt.
Season with some sea salt.
Stir it from time to time.
Stir it from time to time. I'm going to take around 30 minutes to reduce and caramelize properly. You want it to have a nice golden brown color. And the longer you do it, the better the flavor will be, as long as you don't burn it.
When it looks good, pour in a glass of white wine. You can replace the alcohol with 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar.
I think this looks pretty good. I'll go with substituting the white wine with apple cider vinegar so I can drink the wine instead.
Add 1 tablespoon of flour, mix well and cook for about a minute.
I'm going to add a tablespoon of all-purpose flour and mix well for about a minute.
1 liter of organic beef stock.
1 liter of my chicken bone broth because that's all I got. I usually always use the organic ingredients as a biohacker, but like it's just French onion soup, guys, relax.
Add a bunch of dried herbs like thyme, rosemary or bay leaves.
We're going to add a bunch of rosemary, thyme, and bay leaf. I don't have the string to tie it up, so I just use a piece of thyme and rosemary to tie them together.
A dash of cognac or brandy will make it mad.
Unfortunately, I don't have any cognac or brandy left over, but at least the soup's gonna be sober today. So after simmering for about 20 minutes, we're going to put it into, I guess this is a ramekin or a ceramic pot. If you look very deep in your cupboards, you're probably going to find one. But any oven-safe dish should be fine.
Grill up some bread, rub it with garlic.
So I'm going to do this part the American or Canadian way and make some garlic bread, because why not? I'm going to crush 1 clove of garlic in the bowl, add some grass-fed butter, season it with some pepper and salt, and then we're going to heavily spread that on our baguettes. And I'll toast them and broil until they're nice and crispy.
Top of the soup.
On top of the soup.
Sprinkle that with a guilty amount of melted cheese.
I'm guilty of sprinkling a lot of cheese. As you may know from one of my other recipes, the amount of cheese you use is always subjective and something you should never feel guilty about. Additionally, you're supposed to use Comté cheese. First time I heard of Comté, but I have some Gruyere cheese which I'm making for my next video, but it's also a popular option, so I'm going to use that.
Pop this bowl in a preheated oven set to broiling mode at full whack.
In the oven at full whack, and make sure to keep an eye on them so they don't burn.
The soups are ready when the crust is crispy and golden. That's why gratiné.
The soups are done when golden and crispy, gratiné, which means sprinkled with cheese or breadcrumbs and baked in an oven. The direct translation in English is, it's lit.
They look beautiful, right? Trust me, they taste amazing.
This looks like it might get messy, so I transferred it over to my cutting board. They actually look pretty good. But it's time to give our sober French onion soup a taste test and rate it from 1 to 10. I'm gonna give this recipe a solid 9 out of 10. I think adding the white wine and cognac might have brought it over the top, but it's still pretty good. And I don't think that King Louis would execute me for making this. It's quite creamy and flavorful. The garlic bread adds a nice salty touch to it, and I think the Gruyere cheese is perfect. I've never tried Comté, but this is a really good sub. I actually do think it needs a little bit more cheese. I'm not sure if I ate most of it on the first bite, but it definitely looks like it can use a bit more. So next time you're going hunting with the boys and you come home peckish, I definitely recommend making this. Although it does take some cutting and stirring, but it's definitely worth it. As always, thank you guys for watching. If you have a second, please leave a like or comment. See you guys on the next one.